Hello, welcome to Puzzle Master. Today I'm going to be showing you the solution for the Hanayama Equa puzzle, which means I'm going to be showing you how you can get those two circles out of that outer shell piece and then how you can put them back into place using one secret that is the key to the entire puzzle. Now the Equa puzzle is a level 5 out of a possible 6 on Hanayama's own difficulty scale, and it is a level 9 out of 10 on our own Puzzle Master difficulty scale. And if you haven't got the Equa puzzle already, then you can pick it up from our website puzzlemaster.ca. And without further ado, let's get into the solution. Okay, so here is a fully assembled Equa puzzle. Now before we get started with going through the solution, I need to tell you how this puzzle solves, and it is to do with these axes around the shell piece here. Now if we look at these corners, one of the 3 out of one of the 4, so one of the 12 axes is actually very slightly thinner than every other axis, and it is that thinner axis which allows us to solve this puzzle. So the difference is very slight, and it's hard just by looking at it to notice which is the smaller one. So looking at these 3, it is not any of those. Looking at these 3, it is not any of those. Looking at these 3, and it looks to be this one here. Now you might not be able to tell the difference on camera with the thickness, but this one is very slightly thinner, and this is the reason that we can solve the Equa puzzle. So what we need to do is we need to line up the 2 circle pieces on the inside, one of which has this writing that says Equa and Hanayama in there. Now if you are in the wrong orientation, so for instance I happen to be in the right position right here, but if you're not, you'll already know that these knobbly bits in here are very annoying, and they get in the way of just simply moving from one sort of area to another area. Now to move around, if you're not in the position that we're in here, with this one being the thin axis, what you need to do is just line up the gap here with the top bit here, and the gap on the bottom with the bottom bit here. And what you can do is separate the 2 circles and then drop underneath, and then quickly put back together the 2 circles, and you're then into this area here. And all you would have to do to move from this one to this one is that same thing. Line up the gap with this axis here, line up this gap with this axis, and just like that you would be able to move from square to square. But for the actual solution, this is the thin axis, and we want to line it up. We want to separate these 2 circles where we have the circle with the writing on facing the inside axis of this one, because this is the only side that's actually thinner. It thickens up on this side, so it's literally just this part here. So what we need to do is separate the 2 circles and bring the circle with the writing on up onto this axis in here. What we can then do is with the other circle is turn it around so that the gap in the other circle comes to this position here. And what we need to do is we need to get this knobbly bit of the blank circle into this area under here. And we do that by putting the gap onto this axis at the top here, and then dropping that gap into the circle, into this area underneath here. And what that allows us to do is bring this circle down onto this axis here. Again, this one is the thin one that we're going to be moving around, but we want the blank circle to come up onto this axis here. And once we do that, we sort of line it up so that the circle with the writing on is on this axis, and we bring it up the other blank circle onto this axis. And what we then have room to do, again, just because this is the axis with the thinner axis, what we can then do is turn around the circle with the writing on and then we can separate the circle with the writing on from that axis. That's come over the top and into this position here. And then to separate both circles from the axis, all we have to do is rotate the blank circle and pull it off the shell, and we have separated the shell piece from there. And then to separate these two pieces, what we need to do is put them back together like they are originally inside the shell. But now that we've not got the shell restricting it, we can come through to the other side, and we then just twist 180 degrees and we separate those two circles from there. And to reassemble the three Equa puzzle pieces, we are going to reverse all those moves. So firstly, we need to reconnect these two pieces here. So we slide them on, we turn the blank piece around 180 degrees, and then we slide all the way through into this position. Then the shell piece, either you remember which is the thin axis, for me it's this one, or you'll just have to re-identify it again by visually. And what we want to do is, if this axis is the thin one in the top right position, we want to attach the blank circle back to the axis that is facing down if the thin axis is facing up and right. So we're going to put the blank circle on that axis. We are going to spin it round 180 degrees into this position here. Then with the writing should be facing up at the minute. If it's not, then you've put this piece on wrong. What we're going to do is we're going to turn the writing, the circle with the writing on around, and we're going to reconnect it over that thin axis. Then we need to get the blank circle in the right position to drop down off the axis, so that we then have room to turn the circle with the writing on around. So we spin the circle with the writing on all the way around back to this position. We can then drop both circles off each axis. And all we have to do then is just spin this blank circle around so that it's opposite the circle with the writing on, so that we can reconnect those circles and essentially just finish the puzzle. So again, we're going to now use this axis with the blank circle to come up onto, so that this knobbly bit down here can come up into this gap. And what that then allows us to do is spin that blank circle all the way around and then reconnect both circles and reassemble the Equa puzzle back to its original position. So there we go, that is how you take out those two rings, that is how you put them back into place. And that little bit of knowledge at the start, knowing that that one axis is slightly thinner than all other 11 parts of the puzzle, is key. If you do not realize that, or luckily find that, then you're pretty much screwed when it comes to solving this one. It is a very, very tough one, and also a very, very pretty puzzle. It slides together very nice, those two circles. It's awkward and fidgety in places, which is annoying, but when you get it right, it is just satisfying. Now hopefully this has helped you solve the Equa puzzle for yourself. If you want to pick up more puzzles just like the Equa puzzle, then check out our website puzzlemaster.ca, where we have the biggest variety of puzzles on the internet in the world. And until next time, I will see you later.